Benvenuti alle conversazioni e bentornati a Writers on Writers. Il primo ospite di questa giornata, e ne siamo estremamente felici e grati, è Martin Scorsese, che ha scelto di leggere per noi un brano di Fyodor Dostoevskij. Vogliamo ringraziare caldamente anche gli altri due ospiti, Adam Gopnik, un brano di Randall Jarrell, e Margaret Mazzantini, un brano di Erich Boll. Concluderò la puntata con una lettura da Henry Miller.
I'm going to be reading a passage from Brothers Karamazov, but not The Grand Inquisitor, which was a story within the novel was composed by the middle brother, Ivan. But from part 4, book 11, chapter 9, which is actually Ivan's hallucination, his dream of an encounter with the devil. Now, Ivan has a brain fever, and his doctor warns him that he might have an hallucination. Now, after he sees the doctor leaves, he realizes that there's a man in his room, just sitting and waiting. Now, the man is middle-aged, dressed in clothes that were at one time stylish, but now become kind of shabby. Now, Ivan was scowling at the thought of being taken in by what he knows is an hallucination. And the devil happily explains to him that it's possible to have dreams that seem to contain a whole world of events filled with so many unexpected details that, quote, even Leo Tolstoy, unquote, couldn't invent them. The devil's amiable, attentive, easily offended, extremely modest, and perfectly reasonable. He prattles on, and eventually he gets around to the crucifixion. And you keep saying how stupid I am. But my God, I don't make any claims to being your equal in intelligence. Mephistopheles, when he comes to Faust, testifies of himself that he desires evil, yet does only good. Well, let him do what he likes. I mean, it's quite the opposite with me. I am perhaps the only man in all of nature who loves the truth and sincerely desires good. Why, of all beings in the world, am I alone condemned to be cursed by all decent people? And even to be kicked with boots, for when I become incarnate, I must occasionally take such consequences as well. There's a secret here, I know. But they won't reveal the secret to me for anything, because then, having learned what it's all about, I might just roar, Hosanna, and the necessary minus would immediately disappear, and sensibleness would set in all over the world, and with it, of course, the end of everything. Even of newspapers and journals, because who would subscribe to them? I know that I will finally be reconciled, that I too will finish my quadrillion and be let in on the secret. But until that happens, I sulk and gradually fulfill my purpose, which is to destroy thousands so that one may be saved. For instance, how many souls had to be destroyed, an honest reputation put to shame, in order to get just one righteous Job, with whom they baited me so wickedly in olden times? No. Until the secret is revealed, two truths exist for me. One is theirs, from there, and so far completely unknown to me. The other is mine. And who knows which is preferable? Are you sleeping? What else, Ivan groaned spitefully? Everything in my nature that is stupid, long outlived, mulled over in my mind, flung away like carrion, you are now offering to me as some kind of news. Shut up or I'll kill you. You kill me? No, excuse me. I will have my say. I came in order to treat myself to that pleasure, huh? Oh, I love the dreams of my friends, fervent, young, trembling with the thirst for life. Quote, there are new people now, unquote. You decided that last spring as you were preparing to come here. Quote, they propose to destroy everything and begin with anthropophagy. Fools, they never asked me. In my opinion, there is no need to destroy anything. One need only destroy the idea of God and mankind. That's where the business should start. One should begin with that. With that. Oh, blind men of no understanding. Once mankind has renounced God, one and all, and I believe this period analogous to geological periods, will come. Then the entire old worldview will fall of itself, without anthropophagy. And above all, the entire formal morality will fall and everything will be new. People will come together in order to take from life all that it can give. But of course, for happiness and joy in the world only. Man will be exalted with the spirit of divine titanic pride, and the man-god will appear. Man, his will and his science no longer limited, conquering nature every hour, will thereby every hour experience such lofty delight as will replace for him all his former hopes of heavenly delight. Each will know himself utterly mortal, without resurrection, and accept death proudly and calmly, like a god. Out of pride, he will understand that he should not murmur against the momentariness of life, and he will love his brother then, without any reward. Love will satisfy only the moment of life, but the very awareness of its momentariness will increase its fire, inasmuch as previously it was diffused in hopes of an eternal love beyond the grave, and so on and so on and so on in the same vein. Charming. Ivan was sitting with his hands over his ears looking down, but his whole body started trembling, and the voice went on. The question now is, my young thinker reflected, the question now is it possible that such a period will ever come? If it does, everything is determined and humanity is settled forever. But as, owing to man's inveterate stupidity, this cannot come about for at least 1,000 years. Everyone who recognizes the truth even now may legitimately order his life as he pleases on the new principles. In that sense, all things are lawful for him. What's more, even if this period never comes to pass, since there is anyway no God, no immortality, the new man may well become the man-god. Even if he is the only one in the whole world, and promoted to his new position, he may lightheartedly overstep all the barriers of the old morality of the old slave man, if necessary. There is no law for God. Where God stands, the place is holy. Where I stand will be at once the foremost place. All things are lawful, and that's the end of it. Okay, so that's all very charming. But if you want to swindle, why do you want a moral sanction for doing it? But that's on modern Russian all over. He can't bring himself to swindle without a moral sanction. He is so in love with truth. The visitor talked, obviously carried away by his own eloquence, speaking louder and louder and looking ironically at his host. But he did not succeed in finishing because Ivan suddenly snatched a glass from the table and flung it at the orator. Ah, mais c'est bête enfant, cried the latter, jumping up from the sofa and shaking the drops of tea off of himself. He remembers Luther's inkstand. He takes me for a dream and he throws glasses at a dream. It's like a woman. I suspected you were only pretending to stop up your ears. You were really listening.
Hello, Antonio, and everyone involved with the Conversazioni, an event, a tradition that's given me enormous pleasure over the years, both here in New York and in the beautiful island of Capri. We can't be on Capri now, and we are shut in at home in New York. But I did want to read you a few lines from a poem by one of my favorite American poets, Randall Jarrell, who is certainly, as well, my very favorite American critic. It's a poem called A Man Meets a Woman in the Street, and there's just one little part of it that speaks very much to our condition now, because shut in as we are, we live the same day over and over. And in this poem, which is about a man discovering a beautiful woman on the street who he only latterly realizes is his wife, he says, each day birds play to begin the day. While I wished, as men wish, may they stay be different, the birds were wishing, as birds wish over and over, with a last firmness, intensity, reality, may this day be the same. And the poet goes on to say that that's the great difference between men who are natural predators and birds who are natural prey. Men want a different day each day, a day of chase, men including women, a day of chasing and searching, whereas birds who are natural prey just want to get through the day intact. And in a very deep sense, we've gone from being humans to birds in the last while. We stay in our nests, we wander out of them very irresolutely. And the poet concludes, really, I begin the day not with a man's wish, may this day be different, but with the bird's wish, may this day be the same day, the day of my life. And that's our wish now.
Ulla trasalì quando dissi pane e adesso mi faceva pena. Picchiami se vuoi, disse, buttami il tè in faccia, parla, continua a parlare, tu che non volevi aprir bocca, ma ti prego, non dir più la parola pane. Evitami di doverla sentire, ti prego, disse lei, e io sottovoce le risposi, scusami, non lo dirò più. La guardai di nuovo in faccia e quasi mi spaventai. La donna che mi sedeva accanto si trasformava sotto le mie parole, sotto i miei sguardi, sotto l'effetto della minuscola lancetta che, al riparo del menù, continuava a trivellare. Le mie parole non erano più destinate a lei. Avevo creduto che avrebbe parlato molto, finendo per aver ragione, con placida indifferenza. Ora, invece, ero stato io a parlare molto e ad aver ragione con placida indifferenza. Mi guardò in viso e capii ciò che avrebbe fatto più tardi nel tornare nella casa di suo padre, costeggiando l'officina buia, dopo aver attraversato il sentiero ghiaioso tra i cespugli e la siepe di Sambuco. Avrebbe fatto ciò che meno mi sarei aspettato da lei. Avrebbe pianto. E un'Ulla piangente io non l'avevo mai conosciuta. Io credevo che avrebbe trionfato, ma adesso ero io a trionfare e ne sentivo l'acidulo sapore sulla lingua. Non aveva nemmeno assaggiato il caffè, giocherellava con il cucchiaino e la sua voce mi colpì quando disse «Ti darei volentieri un assegno in bianco perché tu possa ritirare dal nostro conto corrente tutte le maledizioni che vuoi. È bello sapere che in tutti questi anni hai pensato così. Hai contato le maledizioni, senza mai dirmi niente». «Non ho pensato così in tutti questi anni», dissi. «È diverso, sono cose di cui forse soltanto oggi, soltanto qui mi sono reso conto. È come versare del colorante rosso in una sorgente e vedere fin dove arrivano le sue diramazioni. Possono passare degli anni prima che, in un punto che non ti aspettavi, trovi l'acqua tinta di rosso. Oggi finalmente sanguinano i ruscelli e soltanto adesso capisco da dove viene il rosso che mi tinge». «Può darsi che tu abbia ragione», disse lei. Il pane dei verdi anni, Eric Böll.
Henry Miller è stato uno dei grandi autori del Novecento, la sua reputazione è scandalosa, sulfurea. In qualche modo anche questo brano è scandaloso, ma in una direzione opposta a quello che ci si possa immaginare. Lo scandalo è la purezza qui, e il brano è assolutamente struggente. La questione, nel momento della creazione di una nuova opera d'arte, dunque è: in ciò che vediamo c'è più di quello che riusciremo a vedere solo con gli occhi? E la risposta è sempre sì. Persino nell'oggetto più umile possiamo trovare ciò che cerchiamo: bellezza, verità, realtà, divinità. E queste qualità non le crea l'artista. Lui le scopre soltanto nel momento in cui inizia a dipingere. Quando si rende conto di questo, allora può continuare il suo lavoro senza paura di sbagliare, perché capisce che a questo punto, che lui continui a dipingere o no, non fa più differenza. Uno non si mette a cantare perché spera un giorno di apparire all'opera. Uno canta perché i suoi polmoni sono pieni di gioia. È meraviglioso ascoltare una grande esibizione, ma è ancor più meraviglioso incontrare lungo la strada un vagabondo felice che non riesce a smettere di cantare perché il suo cuore è pieno di gioia. Ed il vostro felice vagabondo non si aspetta nessuna ricompensa per il suo sforzo. Lui non sa neanche cosa voglia dire lo sforzo. Nessuno può essere pagato per donare la propria gioia. La gioia è sempre data liberamente. Buona lettura e ci vediamo la settimana prossima.